Okay, Shalom family. I was on here trying to get this together and I keep getting rid of my screen. So today I would like to read a short article by Alice C. Lindsay. She is a biblical anthropologist, and this article here is titled The African Culture Context of Genesis chapter 1 through chapter 12. And I'm just going to give a short background. I've done a couple of other videos on her and showed some provided or just share some material from her. Um, the material that she used to base her findings is on archaeology, linguistic, migration studies, climate studies, molecular studies, or genetic studies. And it's also mentioned that she's one of the famous scholars, considered to be scholars of 35 years. And she has unveiled ancient sources which give accurate information about characters in the Bible based on, again, her use of archaeology, linguistic, migration studies, climate studies, molecular genetics, and also another one was also, what was it, climate? I forgot the other one, but anyways, this is at least five of the ones that she used on all her studies and her research. So today, again, I'm going to read a short article that was dated, in fact, it was posted December 11, 2013. Um, and this is basically, this particular article is going to be on Abraham. And she's going to be explaining, based on her material that she used, that Abraham resembled the Nilo-Saharan, which was cattle herding people. So I just want to show you a picture that, based on her findings, based on her material she used in the area, and she's going back talking about ancient material that she's used, that he was depicted as this. She said, this is how he looked. I have a couple of pictures here, and I'll show them later because I don't want to lose my article again. I did it 3 times trying to record this. So let's go back to the article and let's get to the article. It says, in assessing the literature that pertains to the Genesis prehistory, it is evident that most scholars have missed the African cultural context of this material. I'm at the first paragraph. I'm trying to highlight the paragraphs as I go because you can't really see my cursor when I'm trying to read it. It says, it is evidence that most scholars have missed the African culture context of this material, lacking this perspective. It is difficult to resolve some questions consistent with finding in archaeology, linguistic, migration studies, climate studies, and molecular studies. I always get that tight tongue. However, when we place the Genesis prehistory in its proper Nilo-Saharan context, textual questions can be resolved quite satisfactorily. Satisfactorily. This is my field of expertise and why I have labeled my work biblical anthropology. Now, remember, she has 35 years of research. 35 years, y'all. That's almost as long as I worked for the Social Security office. 2 years more than her studies. And I know my stuff, so I know what she's talking about. Being a place for 30 some years, you know your stuff. It goes on to say, my disclaimer say that cultural context of Abraham people is Mesopotamian and therefore Near Eastern. Then she goes on to say that these people, mean these disclaimers, clearly do not understand my 35 years of research. Africa is not the Near East, based on all her study, 35 years of research. Okay, then she goes on to say, the cultural context of Abraham's Mesopotamian ancestor is Nilo-Saharan and usually referred to as Cushites. But we know that they're also related to the Ethiopians and Somalians as well. And they are also, most of them are Hamite, which is Cush the son of, not the son of Ham. Yeah, Cush was the son of no Ham, because Noah had Abraham, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and Cush is a descendant of Ham. It says analysis of kinship and let's start over. The cultural context of Abraham's Mesopotamian ancestor is Nilo-Saharan and usually referred to as the Cushites. Analysis of the kinship and ascendancy patterns of Genesis kings reveal that Abraham is a direct descendant of Nimrod, a Cushite ruler. Genesis 10 explicitly states that Nimrod was the son of Cush. So Nimrod was the son of Cush, and Cush was the son of Ham. Now remember Abraham, because remember before Abraham became Abraham, he was named Abra. And then Ham was attacked on too. So it sounds like history is showing that Abraham was Shemitic and Hamitic. Now that's what it sounds like, according to her research and her studies and her findings. Then it goes on to say that analysis, okay, is a direct descendant of Nimrod, a Cushite ruler. Genesis 10 explicitly states that Nimrod was the son of Cush. The language Nimrod kingdom was Akkadians, and the Akkadians' cuneiform is essentially a Nilo-Saharan script language. You probably have all kind of people in here trying to bunk her research when she's trying to just give the facts based on what she's found, based on her sources. But when you want to lie, you just you dismiss the sources and then you start writing your own history. The next paragraph says here that Genesis 4 and 5 tell us about Abraham, Nilo-Saharan ancestor, who are the mighty men of old. That's found in Genesis 4, 5, and 6. When it talks about there was giants in the land, that's talking about the mighty men of old. Now I'm just going to go there real quick. Genesis, where is it? I'm going to read from Genesis 6. It says 6:4. It says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. That's what she's talking about. That's the verse she's talking about. And it says, they were city builders. Well, let's go back. Mighty men of old. They were the rulers of the ancient Afro-Asiatic dominion. They were city builders. I'm right here. They were city builders. And the archaeological evidence indicate that their cities were shrine centers with a sophisticated Nilotic technology. They were not the first people of the earth. Now, I don't understand why she says that right here, unless I just misread the other article she wrote. But I remember I did my last two videos, and she was saying that the Cushites, was it the Cushites? Or maybe it was a different Hamitic people that was the first people of the earth. But I digress. Let me go ahead to the next paragraph. All right, here it says, when we place this material in the Nilo-Saharan context, we are able to resolve a key question concerning Cain. Eve represents the first mother. Exactly. She was the mother of us all. But there is a huge gap of time between the historical Eve and Cain of Genesis 4. Next little paragraph says, the text does not say Eve gave birth to Cain. Here's what it states. Now she's going to, right below that, it talks about in Genesis 4:1. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten or gained a man with the help of the Lord. Genesis 4:1. And this verse is from the Hebrew Study Bible. Now below is in a term, it's a different same chapter and verse, but in a different Bible. It's called the Shakkin Bible. I'm gonna have to research that and look for it. It says the human knew Hava, his wife. She became pregnant and bore Kayi. She said Kani. Then it goes on to say Quanti or Quatidi comes from the Nilo-Saharan language similar to Oromo in ancient Egypt. These languages share the as an iti, sari means with the king or for the king. It is attached to the name of royalty. Even today, the Oromo of Ethiopia and Somalia attach iti to names Kartumiti or Fafiniti or Dismachquiti. That iti is associated with Nilotic rulers is evidence in the name of the great Egyptian queen Nefertiti. It says, based on this information, the best interpretation of Genesis 4:1 is that the first mother knew that she was the founder of a line of rulers. This suggests a very early belief among the African, Abraham's African. African ancestry, that humans are uniquely equipped to have dominion over the earth and other creatures, a belief expressed in Genesis 1:28. It says this ideal is linked to another belief of Abraham, African ancestor, the ideal that the human reflects the image of the Creator, the ruler of the cosmos. We are meant to be rulers. We're meant to be rulers. Abraham's ancestors took these seriously and dispersed among the ancient water system. The Nilo-Saharans or Kushites dispersion out of Africa has been confirmed by the DNA studies. They also believe that there would come a ruler whose kingdom would be eternal because he would defeat death. That is why the ancient Nilo-Saharan rulers were buried with extreme care. This is the origin of the Messianic expectation. So that was a little short article I wanted to share with you all. You can go read it online. Just put in Alice C. Lindsay and put the title of the African culture text of Genesis 1:2, and you get that article. So I wanted to share that briefly, and I'm going to be sharing another one in a minute, but it's going to be on a different screen, a recording. So I say shalom, and you all have a blessed day.